This is Midlife Virus, and I want to thank you for joining me as I join myself. Today's episode is all about gaslighting and exposing the flamethrowers that are in our lives. What gaslighting is, what gaslighting does, how you can notice gaslighting and learn how to make yourself fireproof. Are you ready to get into the flames? This is Midlife Virus. Warning, adult content. Cover your ears, cover your children's ears, cover your dog's ears. Aloha and welcome back. This is Midlife Virus, and I want to thank you for joining me as I join myself. Today, we're going to talk about gaslighting. We're going to expose gaslighting for what it is and how to become fireproof. Now, before we start, I'm going to be up and honest and transparent with you. In the beginning, when I do the intro for the show and I talk about Socrates and all I know is that I know nothing at all, that is from my heart. And so we're going on this journey together. I do not claim to be an expert in anything, but what I do claim is that I don't know shit. And so that is what this journey is. We think we know something, and then a new answer arrives, and we are humbled by that discovery. And so throughout the show, throughout the episodes, the seasons, we're going to search together. I'm going to pop up on Google, Chat GPT, Jasper, anything, my friend. I'm going to go outside and ask a bird, hey, what have you heard? But we're going to do that. We're going to do it together. Excuse me, in my throat. All right, so today, gaslighting. We're going to expose gaslighting. I don't know how many of you understand what gaslighting is, how to recognize it, if it's even involved in your life. Are you a person who throws the gas and lights the match? Well, we'll make it simple. Gaslighting is a manipulative, man, that word just fell right out my mouth. Manipulative. It is a man, when you think about pronouncing a word too much, you just can't say it. Have you ever experienced that? Okay, well, anyway, gaslighting is the practice. I'm going to skip over manipulative. Ha! I just said it. Anyway, gaslighting is the practice of diminishing somebody's statement, turning it around like they are absolutely batshit crazy. It's the practice of diminishing another person's truth and dignity by just flat out burning it to the ground. And we're going to discuss what that looks like. All right. But first, we're all going to learn something new. If you already knew this, then bless your heart. I was curious. And so I Googled what coined gaslighting. When was that coined as a phrase? And it turns out right here on the internet, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I want to just apologize now. You will see me look at the screen at the stuff that we're searching together, because like I said earlier, we are actively having this conversation. I'm not really one on pre-production. I'll outline the show and get an idea, but I want this to be an honest discussion, like I'm here with you in the room, or I'm sitting next to you in the car, or I'm the weirdo that you just happened to say hello to at the bus stop, and now I won't shut the fuck up. So from time to time, I am going to look at the screen and kind of get my bearing, and right now I'm looking at the screen, squinting my eyes, and it says Patrick Hamilton's Gaslight is a psychological thriller in which a husband manipulates his wife to the point where she starts questioning her reality. So that's what it is. You manipulate whomever is your target, your victim, to question their own reality. Okay, so let's see what else he did. Oh, he was in the attic. He was up in the attic searching for hidden treasures. So the husband in this show, in this psychological thriller, Gaslight, he's up in the attic and he's searching for treasures, and the wife is wondering, hey, what's going on? And it says here that he uses the gas lights in the attic and what is this? He dims, okay, excuse me, we're discovering this together. All right, so it says here that the husband is up in the attic searching for treasure. The gas lights are dimmed because he's using the lights up there as well. And the wife notices and she says, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" And he proceeds to tell her, "You're fucking crazy." There you go. I surmised the entire psychological thriller. For those of you who have watched it, by all means, clap back and you can comment and say, "Oh, it's more deep. It's a lot deeper than that, mister." And you can call me out. I love conversation. Without conversation, we pretty much have indoctrination, right? So debate is an amazing tool for society, culture, all that good stuff. So fast forward to today. 1938, Patrick Hamilton's psychological thriller Gaslight coins the phrase gaslighting. And so now we use that phrase every day. It's a common term. Everybody is saying, "You gaslight me." "No, I gaslight you." "You lit the gas first." "No, I lit the gas second." Now we know it's a common denominator. What we want to do now is we want to dissect it. What is gaslighting and how do we become fireproof? You know, I can tell you, I get gaslit all the time. The reason why is I am incredibly transparent about my mental health, my struggles, my triumphs. I'm very open about it. And the first thing you step into when you step into the light is you hand over your dignity because you're nuts, right? You have mental health, so nobody takes you serious. And the people who take you serious, anyway, gaslighting happens all the time because one will tell you, "Oh, this is just a symptom of your PTSD," or "This is just, you're just having a trigger." So what I've learned to do is I've learned to recognize what gaslighting is, number one, and then I've learned also not to get so upset about it, right? Because this is how I look at it. There's a couple reasons why people are going to gaslight you. In this example, where someone is gaslighting you because you have a mental health issue, you know what I mean, whether it's depression, anxiety, whatever, the main reason they're gaslighting you is most likely out of fear. It makes regular people uncomfortable because mental health is one of those things that people guard against. If you lose your sanity, then what have you lost? You've lost like everything, right? So people who gaslight against mental health, and I know we just shifted into a whole nother tangent of mental health awareness. Don't worry, we'll shift right back. When people gaslight those with mental health, it's usually based out of fear because they cannot handle that reality. And so they just shut you down. And so people get confused. Mental health doesn't mean I have mental health symptoms 100% of the time. I've got regular emotions as well, right? And they're part of me. So that's the biggest thing that bothers me is that people will shut that down when you're expressing a regular emotion. Anyway, it's a thing. You have to learn to be patient and pour buckets and buckets of empathy into the world. You just got to hose people off with it, like, like almost manic. Robin Williams kind hosing. So anyway, let's get back. All right. How do we define gaslighting? Well, welcome to the world of gaslighting. It is defined as a psychological manipulation where a person or group makes someone question their sanity, their perception of reality, or memories. Picture this, okay? It's like walking in a dark maze and somebody constantly moving the walls, changing the rules, and you're just trying to get through the maze. That's all. And so it becomes a game, a power play game, right? So let's look at the pieces, these walls that they're moving about, okay? So denial of reality, that's one of the walls, right? They're having a conversation with you about something important and they just flatly deny it. They just deny it. Hey, you forgot to put the garbage out. What are you talking about? The garbage? Today's not even the garbage day. Yeah. You know, and by the way, you were the one who put the garbage out last time. You know what I mean? Just completely whoop up. It's burned to a crisp. So you come forth with a legitimate idea, a concern, an honest truth. Hey! And the person who wants to psychologically manipulate you will just completely burn it by denying it even exists. So that's number one, denial of reality. Number two, dismissal of feelings, right? I feel that you did this at the party, and they say, you're a freaking pussy. Excuse my language. Sorry, ladies. You stepped in front of me in line. You're a whip, you're stupid. Who the fuck thinks like that? You know what I mean? Those are examples of how somebody's going to gaslight you by dismissing your feelings. Okay. Number three, twisting the truth. Now, I gave you an example earlier of that when I said, well, you put the garbage out last time. Twisting the truth or being a spin doctor, that's one of the biggest ones you'll see. People will just flat out flip the script on you. Well, you're the one. Or that didn't, that's not the way it was. It was this, and this. You know what I mean? You see this all the time perceptually when you get in arguments with people or misunderstandings, right? You'll put your point out, I feel cats are more agile than dogs. And then somebody will be, well, that's because, they have to outrun dogs. You'll be like, what? What? No, I'm just saying because, the way cats are made, they're more agile than dogs. Well, they wouldn't have evolved that way if they weren't being murdered by dogs. We've twisted the truth. We've completely changed reality. We've dismissed the whole thing. Actually, I think I might have skipped across. Look at me. I twisted the script. Number 4, diverting the blame. Imagine you confront somebody about an issue, but instead of addressing the issue, they shift the focus onto your supposed faults and mistakes. So, cats aren't agile. They're only... Wait. Sorry. Cats aren't naturally agile. It is because dogs kill them and chase them around, and they have predators. That's why they're agile. Diverting the blame. You have to ask yourself, how many times do I get gaslit? Okay, so wait, let me just back up. You don't want to be, hyper paranoid. Everybody's gaslighting me. No, that's not the concept of this informational show. The concept of today's podcast is to just define what gaslighting is so that you and yours can have those discussions on how to recognize it. That's the thing. If you don't know what to look for, you don't know what it is. Earlier, we discovered that Patrick Hamilton wrote a psychological thriller called Gaslight in 1938. And wow, look at that. I've now learned a new fact and I can just ramble it off. See, we're doing stuff together. It's amazing. That's the whole point. All right, so denial of reality is number 1. Dismissal of feelings is number 2. Number 3 is twisting the truth. Number 4, diverting the blame. Number 5, trivializing. So picture you're being made to feel that your needs and desires and your problems are insignificant, right? They're unimportant, and over time that can erode your self-esteem. This stuff weighs heavy on my heart. I have, I've lived a life with mental health, but I've also had a very abusive relationship with my father, as many of us do, right? And here I am in the middle of my life. I turn 50 soon, and so that's exactly why this show is manifested, is because I'm currently in real time experiencing my midlife virus, and I'm trying to find a cure, not just a cure for myself, but maybe just a cure for all of us. So I had a crappy, gaslit, crazy ass relationship with my father. I've dated people that gaslight me. I've experienced gaslighting in my life. I'm super blessed that most of my current relationships don't psychologically manipulate me. Yeah. I want to bring this up since psychological manipulation just came out my mouth. When researching gaslighting, it turns out that gaslighting is considered one of the very worst forms of psychological manipulation. So just think about that. when you're throwing that word around, number one, let it be honest. You know what I mean? That's why we're going to discuss what this is and how it is and what it's doing and why it's doing it. You know, if you can name the beast, if you can find out the name of the demon, you can exorcise it right out. Right out. Okay? And so that's what I try to do. That's what I want to do. You know, at 50, and that's for people that are turning 50, people that can say, I've already been 50, or young ones that will someday be 50. Hopefully, you do it much, much sooner. But hopefully by 50, you have this epiphany in your life, and you're like, damn, I really don't want to waste so much effort on stress and bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm really on track now since I made it to the top of the hill. It's the middle of my life. I'm 50. You know, what plateaus do I want to enjoy? And I really don't want to enjoy, you know, wildfires. I really don't, right? So once somebody starts to deny my reality, dismiss my feelings, twist my truths, divert the blame onto me, or just trivialize my existence, I really don't want to put up with that. See how we just did that? We worked the whole thing into the conversation. I love it. You're probably going mad right now. If you're on a long drive, if you're just sitting in your living room, or if you're on your toilet, or wherever you are, you know, please clap back in the comments, follow me, send me a message and say, bro, you talk in circles, which puts me to sleep or keeps me busy. But either way, communicate with me. Okay, so back to gaslighting. To understand gaslighting, you've got to define it. But there's also things that we can do that make you fireproof. Okay, so it is enough to recognize the fire in the valleys, to see the flames start, what sparks the fire. But you can also become fire resistant by your mindset, right? Earlier, a few seconds ago, I said, man, I'm 50. I'm gonna be 50 in months, like soon. I don't have the time for this. It's like that one guy in New York. The rent is too damn high. I don't want to pay for this experience anymore. And so what I'm gonna learn to do is I'm gonna learn how to dodge it, you know? Step to the side, use some angles of evasion, like in a fight, and step out of the way. You know, you can negotiate negativity with neglect, right? You don't always have to hit it straight on. Sometimes you can look, you know, at that sloppy mess ahead of you and say, I'm going to cross the street. You can negotiate negativity with neglect. It's our choice. Remember that. It's one thing that hammers into the brain of somebody who deals with mental health. You know what I mean? Most of us who have mental health symptoms of whatever, depression, anxiety, PTSD, all kinds of stuff, you know, most of us are trying to understand a way out of the maze. Yeah, we want to get better. We want to have an escape. We want to breathe, right? So learning all these great things, these are the fire breaks that you can cut through these dangerous ways, right? So how do we become fire resistant? Perception and paradigm, right? The way you see things and your overall truth of how you look at the world, right? So we've got a couple things. It says here on the trusty internet of technology, it says here, trust your gut. Think of your intuition as an internal compass. It's there to guide you when the world around you seems foggy and uncertain. And if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't, right? So trust your gut. Trust your memories, trust your perceptions, because they are valid. That tinge that you don't trust somebody, that tinge, that unspoken little sparkle, you know what I mean? That you feel that something's not right, that something's not safe, that you were just insulted. You know what I mean? Like, what? You know what I mean? You feel it before you say it. You feel it before you think it. You don't have to react. You can resist the knee jerk, but my God, all of our gods, listen to it because it's real, it's a part of you, and it's something you need to trust. Trust your gut. Man, what is the name of that book? I'm gonna have to find, hey, we got the internet. Blink. No, I don't need the internet, I remembered it. Okay, there's this book called Blink. right? And it's by a security expert, and he's talking about the seconds leading up to crime, right? And there's all these stories from survivors of crime, rape victims, burglary victims, all this stuff. And it is stories of their survival and the gut instincts that they felt leading up to the crime. Not all of them got away without a scratch. Many of them were, you know, they were stabbed. There's crimes, you know, the jilted lover came back. But trusting your gut is a really important thing. The book is called Blink. I can't remember the author's name here. Let's Google it since we're here. Googling Blink the book. Blink the book. That's probably the worst. Here we are. That was easy. Da-da, tink, tink, tink. Okay, so the book Blink, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking by Malcolm Gladwell and it's just Malcolm Gladwell and Hachette Audio. Oh, there's an audio book. Oh man, my lazy ass. I read the book. Anyway, it was a good book, great book. I gave it to a friend of mine for him to read. It looks like it's under $15 on Amazon Prime. So if you have access to Amazon Prime, it's cheap. It looks like the audio book is free. So there's a free lesson about trusting your instincts and trusting your gut. A book called Blink. I read it maybe 5 years ago, and it was amazing. Totally relevant today, especially with all the crime and everything that's going on in the streets around the world. You know, the protest, the anxiety, you know, the rift between humanities. Humanities, I mean like all of us, because there's lots of different types of us, right? But anyway, Blink, great book. Read it. It will talk to you about thinking without thinking, which is the way this author defines trusting your gut. Okay, so number one, the best way you can become fire resistant to gaslighting is to trust your gut, trust your intuition. Number two, it says establish boundaries. Okay, so boundaries are like the walls of a fortress, the walls of this maze we're trying to get out. Boundaries protect you from the attacks of gaslighters. Okay, you can block the gas, you can redirect the gas. Okay, so establishing boundaries protects you from gaslighting attacks. To be clear about what behavior is acceptable and unacceptable, and when those boundaries are crossed. And so you might have just thought, well, how do I make boundaries? Boundaries look like this. My finger is raised. Boundaries look like this. Let's say somebody comes up to you and they trivialize your existence. Well, what are you? You know, you just started working here. You're nothing. That's when you sit down or you stand up and you say shit like this. Excuse my language. When I'm punched in, I might be, you know, working for this company, but when I punch out, I've got every single right under the Constitution and all that great stuff that you do. And that's civil rights as well, right? That means I can have the right to retain an attorney and sue, do all kinds of great stuff, because equality looks like equal justice, right? So, and I know right now probably many of you are rolling your eyes, right? Because you're like, yeah, whatever, equality, equal justice. Listen, ideas are better than people. The problem is that people control ideas. What we all need to do is rally under the good ideas. I'll give you an example of a good idea. The golden rule. I'll give you another good example of a good idea. Rape should be illegal worldwide, right? That's a great idea. I'd love to see people rally around that idea. Okay, so people abuse ideas. So what you want to do is explain how these ideas work. That's what a boundary is. Hey, what do you mean? I just got here. Now you don't understand what the contract is. The contract is I work for you to provide a service. You pay for that service and you provide a service to me as well. That's a safe work environment. That's retaining and keeping my dignity intact, right? That's how you create verbal boundaries, is you just remind people of the equality of things in the world. I'm a soul. I'm a human being. You know what I mean? Just because you have a title doesn't relinquish me of my dignity, right? That's an example of establishing boundaries. It's hard. For many, it takes practice. Get in front of a mirror. If you can't say it to somebody in person, get in front of a mirror, practice. If you never get the gumption to do that, send the text, write the email, do like a funny 1980s sitcom and have a friend help you. You know what I mean? Use a fucking pigeon, excuse my language. You know, something. Get your boundary down. Set out the markers and build the walls. That's one of the great ways that you can become fireproof. So, number 1, trust your gut. See it coming. Number 2, put down your defenses, your boundaries. Make it obvious. You don't have to be a prick about it. You don't have to be a raging freaking lunatic. You don't have to scream at people when you put up your boundaries. Boundaries don't even have to, you know, say one word. A boundary can be, oh, this is the last time you ever talked to me and you didn't even know it. You know, you can have ghost boundaries, right? But establishing your boundaries helps you become fireproof against gaslighting, okay? Number 3, verbalize your reality, okay? Now, once again, I'm going to advise not to react with anger or violence. And you're going to hear me say this all the time. Why? Because that's a symptom I fight. I have to beat back those evasive thoughts and be like, what the hell are you thinking? Most of mine are suicidal, right? So I don't wish to act out against others. I would rather just dismiss myself from the equation. But that's not plausible. That doesn't work. So what we have to do is you have to verbalize your reality, okay? You have to not react with anger, not react or receive those evasive thoughts, okay? You've got to verbalize your reality and say things like, you know, hey, you didn't make the dog's dinner last night. You know what I mean? No, you know what? It was supposed to be for you. I don't even know who I'm talking about. That sounds like no woman I know. I think it's a TV voice, I think. But anyway, you know, hey, you didn't do the dog. Fuck you. You have to verbalize the contract. You have to verbalize the reality. Listen, every Tuesday you feed the dogs, and that's the contract. That's the agreement. It's Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. It's Tuesday. You know, or here's another example. You hurt my feelings when you said I was fat. That's my reality. I'm upset because you hurt my feelings because you said I was fat, right? Matter of fact, this is probably one of the greatest tips of not only becoming fireproof, but just basic communication with others, right? If you can verbalize your reality, and the best way to do that is by saying factual things or vulnerably honest things, truths, you know what I mean? I was hurt because you said I was fat, right? It's not the fat part, it's the hurt part that's important in that statement. I was hurt because you said I was fat. You tell the gaslighter right there what reality is, what the offense is, what has been burnt, or wait, actually, they're about to burn you. You put the reality out there as not to be burnt. There we go. You know, I have to right now just pause and look at you in the eye. If you're watching the YouTube video, or if you're watching the video, I'm now staring at you like a weird, creepy person. If you're listening, imagine me in front of you, staring at your face. I'm sorry, I lost it. But anyway, I gotta tell you right now, I really respect the podcasters that have come before me. It is amazing how people can just riff and talk on and, you know what I mean, just do it and go for it. Because I feel I talk in circles. I feel like I am a tetherball sometimes, and I have to like remind myself, what the hell am I talking about? Did I just say this already? Am I killing my kids with boredom in one of my dad lectures and I think that poor guy's leg fell asleep? If that's happening, please hit me back in the comments. Follow and subscribe and say, Sean, Mr. Midlife Virus, I love your show. I'm going to just project that out there. I love your show, but my God, you're a tetherball, and you just round about and circle about. And so I need your help to stay back on track. You're driving me insane. You can do that. I take constructive criticism really well. All right. So the ways to become fireproof: trust your gut, establish boundaries, verbalize your reality. Number 4, seek support. Ta-da! That is the beauty of this podcast. We are supporting one another right now. We are saying, I'm here for you. I've experienced what you've experienced. I want to talk about it, and I want to compare notes, and I want to support you and pat you on the back and say, yeah, that fucking bastard with his flamethrower, he sucks, right? Excuse my language. I will curse a lot. There's a whole adult warning clip in the beginning of the show. I did that to warn you because it does slip out. I am a firm believer in that intellectual people curse. The reason why is that you have to utilize every verb, every word. That's how you get your point across. All right, so seek support. Remember, the strongest warriors don't do it alone. Okay, so think about the military. Everybody, I'm not going to say everybody because I don't, but a lot of people focus on all the badasses, right? The F-16s, the Raptors, the Navy SEALs, all these amazing freaking tools that we have in the world. But those tools don't get there without support. You know what I mean? They don't get there without support. There's a whole apparatus that goes behind making and manifesting these tools, right? Every Navy SEAL has a massive support group, which is pretty much all of us, right? But the military is designed to support their grandest, tools. And so the power of support, just like the power of our military and the men and women that fight for our safeties, the power of support is real. And so when you reach out, you want somebody to reach back. That's what I do, what we do. I can't say we because it's just me. That's why I say join me as I join myself. I'm out here in the middle of the ocean by myself, talking to myself. Because of my mental health, I'm pretty reclusive. I'm out and about. I help. I'm social. But naturally, I'm not. Anyway, it's a thing I have to force myself into. I force myself into the light. Anyway, seeking support is the biggest way you can become fireproof, not only from gaslighting, but from all the flames that seek to burn you down, right? You cannot do this alone. You've got to reach out. You've got to talk out. You got to speak up. You got to hug people. You got to say, I need help. It's okay to say, I don't know if I can take another step. You know what I mean? It's okay to say that. It's okay to ask for help. The biggest problem that we have, and when I say we, I mean people that suffer from mental health, which is, 50% of the world, just to put the number out there, since everybody loves statistics, 50% of the world deals with some sort of mental health issue, whether that be, like I've mentioned, anxiety, depression, PTSD, postpartum depression, bulimia, trauma, all kinds of crazy stuff. Phobias. Mental health is a thing. So if 50% of the world deals with mental health symptoms and afflictions, that means that the other half of the world most likely knows somebody or loves somebody that is dealing with daily mental health issues, hourly mental health issues, minute by the minute. Holy crap, I need to scrape and scratch through the day so I can make it to tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that means 100% of the world deals with mental health. It should be one of the biggest things that we talk about and we train and teach and deal with, because we need to fight the fires, right? We got too many people gaslighting people over everything, including their mental health, that we really need to kind of come together. It is 2023. We are cresting on 2024, the year 2024, where cars are driving themselves, robots are talking to us, doing flips and shit. You know what I mean? It's, as a human race, I think it's really important now that we just start getting our shit together and recognizing the common denominators, right? Gaslighting burns, I imagine, billions of people. There's 8 billion plus people on the planet right now. I'm sure the odds are pretty high that billions of people are being gaslit by insensitive mofos. I almost said the mother pucker word. By insensitive mother puckers, right? They're out there gaslighting people. We got to come together and recognize what it is and say, stop it. So seeking support, that's how we do it. Earlier, I mentioned that rape should be illegal worldwide. You know what I mean? Things like that. I think it's pretty easy to come together. You know what I mean? Person to person. Hey, how about I promise this? I promise to offer you friendship and survival. And that looks like, you know, me being nice. Constructive criticism. You'll get that. You know what I mean? You'll get that. Oh, hey, stop eating so much sugar. It'll help you. You know, constructive criticism. But flat out gaslighting? Come on. Get the hell out of here. So number 4, seek support. Seek support and create a support system. How does that look? I need help. Go to groups online, Google, Siri, ChatGPT, search, how do I find a support group to help me deal with mental health? Or how do I find a support group to help me deal with gaslighting? How do I find support? Billions of us are there for you. And I think what most of us are just waiting for is a hello. Hey, you know what I mean? From across the room. What's up? Right? Oh, well, shit. Hey. And next thing you know, solidarity and friendship blow up into amazing things. Excuse me. Number 5, out of the 5 things that you can do to make you fireproof against gaslighting is practice self-care. Self-care, you hear that a lot, don't you? The caring for oneself. Self-care is just that. Making sure you get enough sleep. Making sure you get enough exercise. Making sure that you've smiled enough and you've laughed enough and you've talked enough about your feelings. Self-care is the discipline to do all of this other stuff that we're talking about. Care about trusting your gut. You know what I mean? Stop and go, I should probably listen to myself. I should probably create boundaries. I'm going to care for myself and I'm going to, you know what? I'm putting some boundaries up. Son of a, those boundaries, I'm going to care about them right now. Mental health and just overall health comes with self-care. Take a walk. Bodies are meant to move, right? Take a walk. Hug a dog. You know, treat yourself to some downtime. Take a nap. Lay in the grass. Walk in the grass barefoot. You know what I mean? Go to a movie. Read a good book. Tell yourself how lucky you are that you are in the moment taking care of yourself. I shouldn't have to say this, but brush your teeth. You know what I mean? Just do the things that maintain you, right? Don't become gluttonous. That's not self-care. You know what I mean? Having a freaking banana split royale, that is. Having 30 of them, yeah. You can't see my face unless you're watching, but I just made the, oh my God, 30 banana royales. You know what I mean? A banana split. Man, that sounds amazing. I love banana splits. And I could eat 30 of them, but I won't. Because that is antithesis. God, I can't say that word. That's the antithesis. That is the opposite. Whew, man, some words I completely just destroy right here live on this show. Join me as I destroy the English language exuberantly. That might have been, I don't even know if that's a real word. But anyway, practicing self-care is super important. Okay? You are the only you got, right? So you got to take care of yourself, right? And what better way than to become fireproof against gaslighting, the flamethrowers of life, the people out there that just want to burn you down. All right? So we've talked about the flames explained on what gaslighting is, right? Denial of reality, dismissal of feelings, twisting the truth, averting, the blame and trivializing whatever it is. Now we've talked about the resistance and the persistence. And now I guess it's about practice. You've got to practice it, which is a thing nobody ever talks about. Everybody talks about what you're supposed to do and how easy it is, and it's done. It's a genie in a bottle. Now that I've explained it to you, you'll know how to do it forever, and you'll never have a problem ever again. That's actually wrong. That's not being intellectually honest. What you have to do now is you have to practice all this stuff. You have to make a point, make a list, use your phone. I use my phone for everything. I have a billion lists in my phone. It's kind of on the spectrum. When you test for autism, if you haven't done this, just do it, even if you are or if you're not, because it's kind of revealing. But some of the tests came back for me that were a little bit on the spectrum, and it talks about filing everything away, like filing thoughts and filing conversations and filing things. And it was hilarious because I do that with my quotes, with my discussions, with things I've written. I've got massive files of weird, wacky shit that I've thought about. You know what I mean? I call them breadcrumbs to sanity, but they're in my phone. And so that's how I practice, you know what I mean, my mental health and my sanity. That's how I kind of keep myself in line when intrusive thoughts and suicidal ideations want to come in and say, you're not worthy. Yeah, I have this whole list of armor. You know what I mean? I have a wall of armaments and things that I'm like, no, my symptoms don't match my reality. Get away from me. Back. Right? You do the same with gaslighting. Okay? So, how long have I been rambling on? 40 minutes! We've been talking for 40 minutes. So I want to thank you. I want to sum everything up. You are fireproof. You don't deserve to be burnt. You deserve to be heard. Even if your reality is wrong. That's a thing. You can be wrong. Sometimes through the flames, we rise with a different truth, right? Sometimes you just learn. I recently was doused. There was a whole damn tanker came up, and I was in a swimming pool of gasoline, and I burned for 6 months because somebody called me out on some of the realities and truths that I was speaking, and I had to go back and double check. You know what I mean? Often when you speak your mind, you have to double check, right? Make sure, is this real? And so some of the stories of my life, I had to go back and speak with family because the stories of your life can often be twisted, right? And so I was burned to a crisp. I came back with an understanding of how misconceptions and translations of truths when you're young and a teenager and just whatever can create a false narrative. And so, man, I'll talk about that in another show. But I had to come back and deal with that. Apologize, rewrite stories of my life. If you haven't done that, it's a thing to do. Yeah, but the flames explained. They can only endure if you're willing to fight them and willing to be honest. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to thank you for discovering where gaslighting came from, how the phrase was coined. Patrick Hamilton, thank you very much. 1938, almost 100 years. 2038, it's kind of around the corner. Most of us will be alive, right? So take what you've learned today. I'm going to take what I've learned today. My ramblings, I'm going to listen to them again and again. I hope you listen to them again and again. I'm going to listen to the rambling weirdness that I do out here. Stay tuned for my next podcast. We're going to be talking about the transition into midlife. Like, what do you do? How do you prepare for that plateau at the top of the hill? Because you spend most of your life climbing the hill. You get up there. Now what do? How do I walk down the mountain? And so we've got a bunch of great ways and good advice on how you continue on with life once you've reached your midlife. Once you've been infected with the midlife virus, we're going to find the cures on how we can move on and get back on track. Not that we were off track, but anyway, thank you once again for joining me today. I want to thank my sponsors. Enjoy the sponsors and the commercials. They pay for everything with their good humor and good intentions. Join me next time as I join myself. This is your host, Sean Hartflinger, and this is Midlife Virus. And now a word from our sponsors. Funky Puppy Productions. If you need a production done, Funky Puppy Productions can do it for you. Visit us at funkypuppyproductions.com. Caring for Mothers. MalamaYourMama.com. Malama Your Mama is an organization that is all about caring for mothers. To Malama is to care. And one of the greatest gifts that we can give our mothers and new mothers is that support system that they so desperately need. Together, we can teach the world to Malama our mamas, just like our mamas have Malamaed us. We want to dedicate this organization and its proceeds to all the strong mothers out there that have honored us. We want to steward healthy mothers and to raise mothers up. Together, we can Malama our mamas. Caring for mothers. Help us by visiting MalamaYourMama.com and supporting our cause. Mahalo. All I know is that I know nothing at all. And it's because of this mantra I've been honest. I don't have all the answers. I can only seek the answers. And hopefully, together, we can find these answers. Because after all, we don't know anything at all. You know, I tried to sound super sexy saying that. And I sounded like a complete idiot. Here's the truth. I'm just trying to find answers because I'm getting sick of being lost. And so here we are. We're going to work on this together. Join me as I join myself here at Midlife Virus. Once again, we'd like to thank you. This is Midlife Virus, and mahalo for joining me as I join myself. Next episode, we'll be focusing on the transition into midlife. What happens when you get to the top of the hill, and how do you prepare for the climb down? I want to thank you. I want to invite you to comment in the comment section, to follow us, subscribe. You can find us everywhere you want to find us online. Thank you, and don't forget to drop by midlifevirus.com. Triple Dream Nipple Cream, 100% natural, 100% made for you. The Triple Dream Nipple Cream team is 100% dedicated to making your nipple dreams come true. 100% edible, you can share it with your crew. Triple Dream Nipple Cream is meant for you on any part of you that you want it to do. Triple Dream Nipple Cream. Take it to the beach. Pump it in public. Triple Dream Nipple Cream is the dream your nipples have been waiting for. Order yours today. Now with 50 SPF. Side factor. Sometimes you just need to spank that spark together. It's been a long time, hasn't it? But you two still want to hook up like you used to. Side Fecta is made for humans, and humans are made to share their spark. Share your spark like you used to back in the good old days, remember? Yeah, you do. Let her remember, just like you used to. Side Fecta. Spank that spark together. Side Fecta. Side Fecta has side effects. Uncommon but not related to. In the case of the following side effects, call 911. Blurred vision, swollen tongue, hives, hot flashes, cool flashes, rash, erection lasting longer than 8 days, hypererotic urges, shortness of breath, gotta smack that ass, fever, chills, and possibly death. Side Fecta.